Greetings everyone, Eric here, and welcome back to another history video. This time, history of an anti-hero. In this episode, we'll be talking about Eddie Brock, also known as Venom. But first, let's get on to the origin story. Eddie was born Edward Allen Brock in San Francisco. He was an Olympic bodybuilder, easily able to bench press 400 to 500 pounds. This was an attempt of Eddie's to please his father. When it didn't work, he decided to try becoming a journalist as he took a full college course on the subject. He landed a job at the Daily Globe, where while working, he stumbled across a letter from the Sin Eater, a psycho killer who the police were desperately trying to catch. He was able to talk to the Sin Eater and able to turn him in and write the story out in the papers, becoming a hero in the eyes of many, including his father. However, later, Spider-Man was able to capture the real Sin Eater, thus discrediting Eddie and ruining his career completely. Broken and down, Eddie walks into a church, begging God for forgiveness as he was about to take his own life. It was then that he heard a ringing of the church bells, as up above him was Parker, desperately trying to remove the symbiote from his body. As the symbiote fell from Parker, it landed and bonded itself to Eddie, thus creating Venom. Now, Eddie was already a very strong man. As you know, he was an Olympic bodybuilder, easily able to lift 500 pounds. The symbiote added to his strength and multiplied it tenfold, making him vastly stronger. It also sort of messed with his mind, for Eddie Brock already had a hatred for Spider-Man, as Spider-Man was the one who found the real Sin Eater and captured him. But then also, the symbiote had a hatred for Spider-Man for rejecting him. So combining those pretty much just made a big heap and help of hatred for Spider-Man. Okay, now that the origin story is over, let's go over some comics and artists. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to list some comics that Venom has been in, or at least some of the major ones that he's been in. And then I'm going to list the main artists who drew him with those comics. Now this is also going to be my recommended reading, as I recommend you read every single one of these comics. So it's a good way of combining both. Now let's get started. Now firstly, I recommend that you go and read the Web of Spider-Man series, as parts of it explain why Peter got rid of the suit, especially in the first issue, but it also has some ghost appearances of Eddie kind of messing with Peter throughout the series. Now, it was drawn by many artists, just like Amazing Spider-Man, so I can't really tell you the main artist since it was drawn by many. But I do recommend that you go check it out, as Eddie Brock does appear in them eventually, and even continues to appear in them as it goes on. Now, the first real appearances you also get is from the Amazing Spider-Man series. Now, to start off, I would suggest you begin reading from about issue 299, as it does sort of show Eddie Brock, again, just kind of messing with Spider-Man. But it does lead up into where he's going to actually appear as Venom. Now, where Eddie actually appears as Venom himself is throughout the series where Todd McFarlane was the main artist. So he's the one I'm going to be crediting for this, as he's also the man who first drew Venom. Our next appearance is in the Venom Lethal Protector series, which went on for 6 issues. It was penciled by Mark Bagley, with most inks done by Sam De La Rosa. This is also where we get a little bit of a backstory of Eddie Brock and why he's trying to kill Spider-Man. Next up, we have Venom the Madness, which went on for 3 issues. It was penciled and inked by Kelly Jones, with some inks by John Bieta, or Beatty, I don't know. This also has some appearances from Juggernaut, as you can tell by the cover. It's a really cool issue, and I definitely recommend it just because Juggernaut's in it. Next, we have Venom the Mace, which goes on for 3 issues. Oh, by the way, a lot of these go on for only 3 issues, or at least very shortly. It was penciled and inked by Liam Sharp. Next up, we have Knights of Vengeance, which went on for 4 issues. And all the artwork seems to have been done by Ron Lim. Interesting name. Next up on our list is Separation Anxiety, which went on for 4 issues. It was penciled by Ron Randall, with inks by Sam De La Rosa. Eddie does not look happy in this cover, does he? Next up, we have Carnage Unleashed, Oh, and don't worry, we'll be getting to villains very soon. This went on for 4 issues, with artist Andrew Wildman. Next up, we have Sinner Takes All, which goes on for 5 issues, and the artwork was done by Greg Luzniak. Weird names these days. Also, I love this cover. Next, we have Along Came a Spider. I didn't check how many issues this went on for, so my mistake. It was penciled by Joe St. Pierre, with inks by Randy Emberlin. Also, why is Spider-Man grabbing Venom's tongue? Next up, we have Venom Tooth and Claw, or as it like to call, Venom vs. Wolverine. There is nothing about this comic that isn't badass. It's 3 issues with art by Joe St. Pierre, and I love this freaking cover. Next up, we have Venom on Trial, which went on for 3 issues and was drawn by artist Josh Hood. Next up, we have Venom License to Kill, and oh my god, could this cover be any more badass? Sorry, it goes on for 3 issues, and the artwork was done by Derek Donovan. God, this is such a badass cover! Our final recommendation will be Venom, the Finale, which goes on for 3 issues, and it was drawn by Mark Pajarillo. I think that's how you say that name. Alright, that's all for now. That's going to be my final recommendation. Now, if you want to continue on, you can. There has been so many more stories since that last one that I recommended, including all the way up to when Eddie eventually becomes the Anti-Venom. And even further than that, he eventually, I think, becomes Toxin. I'm not including those in this one just because I wanted to kind of get this one short and get you the main continuity of Venom the way he was. So if you want to continue reading, you can easily just go out and find a lot of the Anti-Venom stuff and the Toxin stuff, since that's pretty recent. Now, for the next video, I'm going to be doing another anti-hero, or villain if you want to say, because I'm going to be doing Lobo. And obviously Lobo is kind of someone on his own. In fact, I'm not going to call it anti-hero or villain. Next time, it's going to be History of Lobo. It's plain and simple. His own entity. Now, I'm going to not be doing these videos every week or every other week. I'm going to do them once a month. Now, I know that's a bit of a shocker, but these videos take a while to make, and I want to get back into doing my how to draw videos. So, once a month, I will be doing a history video. The next one, obviously, will be Lobo. And then I'll let you guys decide on who I should do next. Who I should do, maybe a villain. So who knows? So just let me know who you want me to do, and I'll try to get it done as good as I can. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Later!